Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about video game violence, and I'm going to tell you from experience. I'm an old person, I'm a grown man, and I play video games. I've been playing video games, I would say, since the 80s. I've been playing video games. I was there in the birth of video games, and I'm still around playing video games. And I'm going to tell you the truth about video games and video game violence. And the first things off, I'm gonna tell you the difference between having violence in video games and video games that create violent tendencies. There's a big difference. Now, the games that are really to blame and are really bad are not the games that people typically blame, like Grand Theft Auto or Mortal Kombat. Those are games that depict violence, but they don't really create violence. You see, the games that create violence, you gotta accept the truth. And things that create violence are sports. Sports is a well-known fact that sports itself it creates violence. You could look up on YouTube riots created by sports. The fans fighting each other, or people being violent against the players, especially in soccer and football. You know, there has been big riots through sports. Sports creates violence. And when you have games that create an ambience of sportsmanship, of sports, which are called esports, electronic sports, which makes the game into a whole stressful competition. And that's where you end up with your children breaking everything. Children, husbands, whoever is playing, that's when they start raging. When the game becomes extremely competitive, because it becomes a sports, and sports breeds violence. That's simply a fact. No one could deny me that sports breeds violence. And then people start breaking their monitors, breaking their TVs, breaking their gaming systems in rage. Everybody saw Snoop Dogg rage on live stream. On his live stream, everybody saw him. What was he playing? He was playing Madden. He was playing Madden football. You know, and he rage quitted in public. It was horrible. It was embarrassing, and all that. Well, you could look on YouTube for kids rage quitting Fortnite, because Fortnite has a very strong competitive sports community. And that's the truth about video game violence. It's not, the truth is, the bad thing is not the violence in video games. It's the violence that video games create in the real world. That's the real issue. And the games that are creating violence in the real world are not games people are blaming. As I said before, like GTA or games like Mortal Kombat. No, the games that are creating it are these highly competitive and stressful sports games or competitive titles that have any competition that your children or your husbands or whoever it is, your girlfriend, is taking way too serious. And they're raging and they're angry and they're really not having fun. And they end up breaking their TVs, their monitors, because sports breeds violence. Hear me clear. Sports breeds violence. And yes, there's frustrating games like Mario Maker 2, and you might be frustrated and angry, but it's not the same thing as actually creating violence. Call of Duty is a well-known sports-like game, and nobody could deny me that that Call of Duty is not a sports game. Call of Duty is 100% a sports game, and Call of Duty breeds violence. That's what Call of Duty does. In the end, the truth that I'm trying to reveal to you is that yes, there is violence depicted in a lot of games, but that is not gonna affect your children if that's your concern. in any way. It's just like watching movies and cartoons, and you know, there's been violence depicted in cartoons all the way back since Tom and Jerry. Are you a violent tendency person because you watched Tom and Jerry when you were younger? No. You know, now you call if you're a sports person, you know very damn well that when your team doesn't win or somebody is on the oh snap, somebody is in the opposite team, there's violence in sports. You know these things as adults, and there's a lot of video games that create a very highly aggressive sports environment. And I could tell you the games of a few. I could tell you the names of a few games that do that. I will say one. Call of Duty is a sports game that you wouldn't think it's a sports game, but it is, and it breeds violent tendencies, as in breaking their remotes, breaking their TVs. So there you go, from experience, plain and simple. If you don't want to accept it, that's up to you, but I'm telling you the facts. Sports creates violence, not really video game. And even if you're playing a highly competitive video game, it all depends on the person if they're gonna take it super serious and competitive and actually get affected to the point where they break everything in their room, or they're just gonna play the game for playing the game and have fun. And I highly encourage people to have fun in video games, not to take video games serious. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.